Your Eminence, Your Graces, beloved brothers, and beloved faithful in Christ. I just want to say thank you to His Eminence for this trust he's shown in me. I've been thinking as I've been waiting to give my remarks that I'm not sure I've had so much of a sense of apprehension about the largeness of a task as I've had since the day of my ordination when they put the lamb in my hand. And I ask your prayers that I do this work in a God-pleasing way for our youth and young adults. I'll just give a basic framework for what we've been planning. The task force, we were appointed to do this work back in May. We've met amongst ourselves multiple times. We've met with the different departments and the people that have been involved in these ministries over the last several years. We've met with a lot of the young people as well that are involved to try to get a sense of the direction we're going to go. And so the task force, His Eminence, he came to me a few months back, and we had this crossroads where we had the retirement of Cara Beleza from Christian Ed, and the assignment of Father Anthony Yaji to Indianapolis and Father Joseph Purpura to Montreal. We had these openings in these departments. Just want to say, first off, thank you to these amazing people for all the hard work over so many years and the dedication. We're so grateful to them that we have a strong foundation to build on in these next steps. But His Eminence asked, what do we do with these departments? And we had a conversation that the world changed a lot over the last 18 months. And obviously our youth and young adults were heavily impacted by the pandemic, heavily impacted by the social upheavals and divisions that we saw in the culture last year. And maybe we need to take a step back and ask some questions about where are our young people at? Where are our youth and young adults? Almost to get a temperature check, see what their needs are, and also to evaluate the programs as we've done them. To take a step back, not just to kind of recreate the same departments with different people, but actually to look at what is happening. And then from there, after we have some data and some points of that, we can actually plan some concrete things to move forward. So just basically right now, we're going to look at the task force right now. There's a priest and a lay person from each department representing the departments, and they're meeting with the departments themselves. Father Michael Nasser and Wayne Parr for the young adults, Aaron Gata and Father Phil Rogers for the youth. The Christian education is Father Nicholas Long and Anna Sarah Farha, and camping is Khalil Samar and Father Chris Shaddad. And also we've been having the meetings with the wider departments as well. And the idea we had is as we start to build the next steps in how to reach our youth and adults, how to minister to them better, we should start from a holistic approach. They're all working together because we've noticed if we're losing, the statistics say 60% of our youth in college. There's probably ways that we're losing them from Sunday school to the teens, from the teens to college, and from college and adults. We need to figure out how to keep those gaps from happening. And so we all have to work together in one seamless way. And so we thought as we start to work with these departments on the next steps, has to be done with a vision from a united ministry. And so this is the part why we're meeting with the task force that represents all of the 4 departments. Also, we want to get good data. So part of what we've been doing is meeting with focus groups of our youth. And also we are planning for a wide-ranging survey for our parishes. So please look out for this in September. We've hired an outside evaluation group that does this for churches. And we're gonna have a survey that's gonna ask for parents, clergy, Sunday school teachers, our youth, our teens, our young adults, just to say, are we being effective in what we're doing and what do we need to do more of? We need to have actual data to know how to move forward. We're also gonna do some pilot programs. We're dubbing them sacrificial prototypes. We're going to try to send out a curriculum for the Bible Bowl for our Sunday schools. We're going to try to have young adult discussion groups off the same topics. We're going to have teen discussion group and activities at the same topics. The idea to have the Sunday schools, the teens, the young adults, the whole parish working in the same direction. So with His Eminence's blessing, we're going to announce that the Bible Bowl Creative Arts Festivals and Sunday school curriculum that can be ready to go hopefully this winter as we get ready for the Creative Arts Festivals and Bible Bowl. It's going to be the Gospel of Matthew. So the Gospel of Matthew is going to be our focus. And so we're going to ask for constant feedback, a constant feedback loop in the sense like this is how powerful it can be when all these departments work together. But we want to see to make it the best thing possible. So we're going to be asking over the course of the next several months for basically constant feedback. And we set up an email address called taskforce@antiochian.org, taskforce@antiochian.org, where if you're interested in being a part of the process, if you're interested in helping with various parts of the ministries, if you have ideas for us, we want to have the Archdiocese really engage us so that over the next several months, we create something that really meets the needs of our youth and adults. So having said that, this is the basic overview of what we're planning over the next several months. I do want to say a few words about the task at hand. I just came back from Antiochian Village. I was there for 3 weeks working as a session priest. And it was amazing to be there. And I just want to say to everyone here, I can't be more proud of the work the camp is doing. Our young adults that are the counselors, Father Chris and his staff, they're working under a lot of stressful restrictions and things. Like when I was a camp counselor 20 years ago, I think our staff would have exploded trying to do the things they're doing right now. And I'm so proud of them. They're doing so great. But I watched 3 cycles of kids come through the camp. And I can say from 2019 until 2021, I think all of us know, we all feel it in our bones, we feel it in our hearts, that things are different now. And the kinds of questions that I fielded from our kids are such good kids, and I love them so much. But the questions have shifted from struggling with what the church teaches, struggling to understand what the church teaches, to expectation that the church will no longer teach what it has always taught. And why haven't we gotten with the times? I got that so much over the last 3 weeks, and we have to do a better job. We just have to. And I ask your prayers that this is a start to something really great, that we're all working together to do a better job. And when we look about the task at hand, I think we all feel this as well. I looked at just 3 news stories that I'll just give you the kind of thing where the world our kids live in. 3 news stories I just saw the last couple of days. 1, stewardesses and flight attendants on planes have to take combat training. I watched combat training, stuff I learned at the Citadel about how to shove your palm under someone's nose because we can't fly an airplane without having our passions overrule us and attacking flight attendants. They need literal combat training. How sad is that? I saw video of shoplifters walking in without anyone saying anything to them, just walking out with multiple things from the store, learning the people working retail are told not to even say anything, just let them walk out. We think about the way our passions are overruling us. And the world of our young people, I watched the video, again, to think about the task at hand, how big it is right now. TikTok. I barely knew what TikTok was. It's a video, social media. It's like all video based. And the Wall Street Journal, I recommend anyone to watch this. Wall Street Journal did a study on the algorithms that TikTok uses for our young people. And it says they're not just watching what you watch. They're watching how you scroll and where you pause. And within 45 minutes, they've got everything they need to know about what you're interested in. And a lot of times what you're interested in at any given time might be kind of dark. And so they found if you had a depression interest, and they had bots that they programmed to do these interests. So if you had a depression interest, within 45 minutes, the algorithm figured out that you're depressed, starts taking you to videos about depression, not how to heal yourself, but just more about depression to the point where it starts getting into suicidal ideation. And it takes you down this rabbit hole almost purposely just to keep you on the app. And so when we start to hear our young people talk about suicidal ideation and depression, anxiety that's come from this pandemic, the thing they're looking on their phones is actually taking down rabbit trails that might take what might be a small problem that makes it darker and much larger. And this is the world they live in. If you pause on certain videos with sexual content, it will take you to more and more dark and more harsh places. And they showed the rabbit holes that it can take you down. This is the world our young people, God bless them, this is the world they're living in. And I think we all know this deep down. And at the bottom line, if you think about, these are not new ideas, but they're being much more creatively given to our young people. And it's an old story. Tolstoy did this in 19th century Russia. He said, here's Christ's Beatitudes. Here's all these things Christ said, how to be loving to people. And then he said, look at what the church does. And the more orthodox you are, the less Christian you are. So if being Christian is about love, look at the Beatitudes, all about love. But if you believe in the church excludes. The church has dogmas. The church has moral teachings. And you lose the sense of love if you become more orthodox, you become less Christian. And Tolstoy did this, over 100 years ago, but it's a much more creative, social media driven, all these kinds of things that our young people see. And we have to do a better job at saying why we're Orthodox and what all this has to do with love. And these are the kinds of things we're planning some podcasts, we're planning some videos and things like that for this fall to actually generate those discussions actually about what does love have to do with all of these things we have in the life of the church. We have to do a better job there. And I think these are not things that have been created by 2020, not created by the pandemic, but certainly exacerbated by it, accelerated by it in ways, as the task force has talked, it's definitely been accelerated and exacerbated, and we have to do a better job. I'll make one final point before I end. The theme His Eminence has asked us to use this year as part of the Year of Youth. What's going to be for the Creative Arts Festival, it's actually going to come from the Gospel of Matthew as well. We've aligned the Bible Bowl, hopefully Sunday school, teen and young adult activities. We want to align those also with, this comes from Matthew as well. And it's, unless you become His children, you'll by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. That's going to be our theme for next year's Parish Life Conferences and for the Creative Arts Festival's oratorical. And why His Eminence chose this and why I think it's very important is that I could have a task force with John Chrysostom, Basil the Great, Gregory the Theologian. And if our parents and our parish councils and our parishioners aren't on board with all of this, modeling it for our young people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Father Nick Belcher is doing this. It doesn't matter who the task force is. It matters if all of us as an archdiocese on the parish level are invested in this. If all of us learn how to become children, all of us have to learn how to be children in Christ. Because what has our culture done? Our culture shows our kids how to be older than they should be and to lose their innocence. And it tells us as the adults to act more and more childish and indulge our passions and indulge our weaknesses. And so instead of being childlike in the image and likeness of Christ, our kids lose their innocence and we act childish. And so we have to learn what that means. And this is an invitation to all of us as parents, as youth workers, as clergy, as the people on the parish councils, as the people at the candle stand, the lady societies, the men's society, all of these parts of our churches, we all have to learn how to be children. And so it's a call that all of us in our parishes have to take on, because what we have is an unwritten curriculum that our kids see. I learned about unwritten curriculum when I was a high school teacher, that kids learn more about what you do than what you say. And if our parents, and I see it as a parish priest now, if our parents drop their kids off for Sunday school and they're not there for church, if our parents don't model prayer for them at home, if our parents don't model fasting for them, if our parents aren't modeling these things, I can have the greatest retreat planned, the camps can do the best job in the world, but it's not going to make a real impact on their real lives. I've gone to camp so many years, and every confession is, I haven't been to confession in a year. I tried real hard when I got back from camp. I tried real hard to say my prayers, but it fell off. Now I'm back at camp. I remember what prayer is like. We can't have just great camp, great youth programs and great things if our families and our homes and our parishes aren't energized to do it too. And we need all of us to get on board with learning how to be children in the image and likeness of Christ, the way He calls us to be. And that has to be where we come. And St. Porphyrios, our recent saint, I've been saying this a lot to our parents at St. George. He said, stop yelling at your kids. It just makes them irritated. He says, tell the Mother of God, she's a mother too, tell her what you want them to know in prayer, and she'll tell them for you. And he said the most important thing for our children is to have in their veins the blood of praying parents. We have to be praying parents. We have to be praying for them, and they have to see that. So I can do all these things, and we're going to do as best we can to do the first rate, the best youth ministry programs. But just like Holy Week, people come, they weep at Holy Thursday, they sing the Lamentations, they get their candle at Pascha, and then our parishes are empty during the summer. We see it over and over again. Same thing with kids. They go to camp, it goes up, and then it goes back down. We have to do a better job at living the life that the church gives us. It's a grace-filled life. It's a joyful life. And if we do that, if we show them that, all these other kind of social issues they won't make sense to them. The TikTok won't make sense to them if they see it lived. And we have to all do this. So please take this Creative Arts Festival theme as an invitation and a challenge to all of us to learn how to be children in a way that's God-pleasing, in a God-pleasing way. And so I'll leave it at that. We really want everyone's input. Please contact us. Please, taskforceantiochian.org. Watch out when we do the survey. I know everyone hates surveys, but it's going to be useful. Please plug in. Please be a part of this. And we're looking so forward to doing this work. Obviously, there's a lot of trepidation of how big the role is, but we're excited to do the work. We have a great team. We want everyone to be a part of this, though. So please plug in and be a part of this with us. Again, I want to thank His Eminence for the trust he's given in me for this. My life was changed by being a counselor at Antiochian Village. I was a high school teacher. I was never a camper. And Father Michael Nasser invited me to be a counselor the summer of 2000. And I learned the lesson there that young people do want the gospel. They do want to live a Christian life. I didn't know that as a high school teacher. When I heard the counselors talk about what they did at the camp, I was like, what kids go here? I didn't think it was a real thing. I was like, does anybody go to this camp? What are you talking about? And then I saw the miracle of it, and I couldn't go back to teaching anymore. And it's what got me to go to seminary. So I feel very honored and blessed that I can do a small part in this ministry that did so much to change my own life. I'm very grateful to His Eminence, and I just ask your prayers that we can do this all in a God-pleasing way. Thank you.